And when it comes to betrayal, sometimes we got to really understand what that actually really means, because just because someone has hurt us, or just because we felt hurt or pain from an action that someone took, doesn't automatically necessarily mean that it is betrayal. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla, Outstanding Personal Relationships, of course. And in this video, we're going to talk about betrayal, heartbreak. How do you get over betrayal? How do you overcome that? How do you overcome heartbreak? Because I'm pretty sure some of us, many of us, if not all of us, have encountered heartbreak or betrayal at some point in our lives. And how do you get over it? How do you overcome it? We've had a number of comments, questions, a lot of things like that when it comes to overcoming heartbreak, overcoming betrayal, overcoming that type of stuff. Whether it's in monogamy or polygyny, but sometimes people feel as though the husband has betrayed their trust, as a wife, when he marries again, or betrays their emotions or feelings or anything like that. So that's kind of one of the things that we hear a lot about when it comes to how do you get over the pain, how do you get over the hurt. But we've also heard, heartbreak and betrayal. And when it comes to betrayal, sometimes we got to really understand what that actually really means, because just because someone has hurt us, or just because we felt hurt or pain from an action that someone took, doesn't automatically necessarily mean that it is betrayal. Betrayal is pretty much the violation of a person's trust, or their confidence. So this is something that is known, that is well known. This is something that is intentional. And sometimes, people can beg to differ and say, well, they betrayed my trust. And some people may not have known that. And they say, whether it's known or not, they still did it. Well, if they don't know what the trust is, if they don't know what the agreement is, then can it really be betrayal? That's neither here nor there, but we just want to make sure we know what betraying or betrayal means. So usually that's something that's intentional. That's usually something that is, known. What is like this disrespectful violation of, your trust and standards and morals and agreements and things like that. So when that happens, how do you overcome that? As I stated before, I know that a lot of us have had that in our lives. We may have had it from a spouse. We may have had it from a previous relationship, a friend, a family member, maybe even a child or offspring or anything like that. And there are many different ways to kind of deal with it, whether it's dealing with it, whether it's considered dealing with it, overcoming it, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to give a few tips. And the thing is that sometimes it's going to sound like it's just very simple, and it's not always simple, or that it's easy, or that it's just something like, hey, get over it and just move on with your life. I would never want it to seem that way, and I'm not putting it out there like it is that way, but going through the things that I've went through in my life, whether it be as a person in a relationship, a parent, or being, a friend that was betrayed by another friend, or whether I was betrayed, as a wife when I was practicing monogamy, as well as any type of betrayal being in polygyny. And a lot of that came from actually fellow Muslims. It has not come from our husband, but it definitely, I've had some betrayal with fellow Muslims, and that pain is still a pain, regardless of how deep other people may think that it is. So because of those different things and those different parts of my life that I've experienced heartbreak, that I've experienced betrayal. It doesn't matter what position you are in your life. There's still those things, those challenges that you may have to go through. Betrayal and heartbreak being one of them, or two of them, because pretty much they're two different things. So one of the things is that you want to realize that because you were betrayed by someone, that is not your fault. There was nothing you could have possibly done to cause a person to violate your trust, to violate your feelings and your confidence in them. That's their decision. That's something that they made. That's something that they did. It has nothing to do with you. A lot of times we be the victims of betrayal, or we be on the receiving end of that. And we start to question, what did we do to possibly have that happen to us? And although we talk about taking responsibility a lot and outstanding personal relationships, when it comes down to it, you can take responsibility for your part. But when it comes to being oppressed, when it comes to being violated and discarded or anything like that, those aren't things that you should look to say, well, what did I do wrong? How could somebody specifically violate my trust, treat me the way that they did? Now, the stuff that may come after, those are things of your doing. Those are things of your control. And that's whether if you choose to stay, or if you choose to leave, or if you choose to keep that person in your life, or you choose to part ways. But the other thing is not only realizing that it's not your fault, or that it wasn't of your doing, so to speak. You have to really get immersed into personal development. Really find out different things about you. Different things that make you tick, different things that cause these triggers, different things that can increase your faith, increase your love for yourself, your value of yourself. Because once you have that confidence, once you have that love and genuine respect for yourself, you won't allow people to mistreat you. We won't allow that to happen. And like I said, it will happen regardless of what we did or what we didn't do, but we won't allow it to affect us as heavily as we do at times. And this goes for men and women. It's not just women who are violated and mistreated and betrayed. Men go through those things too. It's just that we have a different way of expressing it. We have a different support system than men do when it comes to overcoming and getting over those things. They have their way of doing it, and we have our way of doing it. However, sometimes the way we do it may not be beneficial for either of us. So I'm trying to give really practical tips on how to overcome those things if and when they should happen in your life, or even if you're still suffering from the effects of someone betraying you. Another thing is, really get in touch with your spirituality. Don't put my co-wife, I just love when she talks about this, because she's very passionate about it, and she is amazing when she speaks on it. She speaks very clearly on not giving other people this power. Not only giving people this power, but stop putting them at this specific level, giving them all this energy, giving them so much energy that you lose yourself. You're giving them this energy and this attention, and it's just too much because you're taking away from you. So make sure you are doing the things that you need to do to increase your iman. Those who are Muslim understand what that means. That means increase your faith. Do the things that you do to increase the love within yourself, your relationship with your creator, or whatever spiritual journey you are on. Just something that resonates deep inside you to a point where it's bigger than you. It's bigger than the situation. And another thing, as I stated before, really get into personal development. Read the books, take the programs, listen to the audio books and courses, do the work, do the things that you need to do to increase yourself. And don't give, and as easy as this may sound coming out of my mouth, don't give this stuff that much power. Because as I stated in a number of trainings, as I stated even in the number of memes that I've created, it's like the thing that you give the most focus to is the thing that you give the power to. That's the thing that's going to take over you. Those are the things that are going to take over your life. Now, if you're giving a lot of negative things the power, you're going to have a lot of negativity in your life. If you're giving a lot of things that time of day that are negative and just causing you turmoil and issues and problems where you can't eat or sleep or function properly, then you are doing yourself a disservice. And that's by your own doing. Yes, a person did this to you, but now you're doing it to yourself. And you're continuing the cycle of betrayal because now you're doing it to yourself. So definitely got to be careful with that. We got to realize that we have to be protectors of our own hearts. We have to be protectors of our own lives, our own emotions. So when I hear people say, well, I gave them so much and I sacrificed this and I did these different things and I can't believe they would have done this to me. You gave them so much more than they should have had, than you should have given them, because you took away from you. Why did you give them that much? Did you give that to them to expect something in return? Because that, again, is an issue. You do it because it does something for you, not because you're expecting to get something from them in return. That's how we encounter a lot of our heartbreak, because we put the meaning of what we've done in a type of way that we expected something in return that we did not get. So we got to make sure we do that for ourselves first. We give us the things that we deserve and we desire. And yes, in relationships, there are love languages. There are certain things. There's connection. So I'm not saying that this stuff won't happen just because you put all these things in place. It's just dealing with it and overcoming it becomes a lot more easier because you're not constantly reliving the pain and the hurt. So if you decide to choose to stay and keep that person in your life, realize that there may be judgment and you have to prepare for that judgment. Not only will you have to prepare for that judgment, you have to just realize it's your decision and make sure the decision is the decision that's best for you. And if you choose to part ways, once again, that's your decision, and make sure that decision is best for you. So, inshallah, God willing, there's a great information from this. We go deep dive into trainings like this in our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. This was just a quick, short video because the topic and the subject is way too deep for a quick YouTube video. So we definitely go deeper in our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle. And you can get that information at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM for relationship mastery. Usually I'm very giddy and joking and everything like that, but this topic is not a joking matter, and we're seeing too many people become on the receiving end of betrayal, and it's causing a lot of low self-esteem and a lot of disruption in the lives of people. You know, we are human beings with feelings, not property to just be treated any old type of way by anybody because they just feel like it. You know, and a lot of that comes from narcissism. And if you guys want to know more about that, my co-wife did an amazing video, and you can check that out. And I'm going to put a link to that in the description when she talks about narcissism. So until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
One is by following us on our social medias. Follow us on IG at Outstanding Relationships and on Facebook and YouTube at Outstanding Personal Relationships. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Number 2, make sure you head over to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and subscribe to the email list. From there, you will get downloads as well as updates, any and all updates. And you also get an update on the release of our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny, Uncensored.
Number 3, if you are serious about polygyny relationships and really developing fulfillment and happiness, make sure you register for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is members only, which includes downloads. It includes access to us live on a weekly basis. So that's at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.